cathedral bells tolled, echoing through the air like a promise. Guests in glittering gowns and polished suits leaned forward in their seats, ready to witness the grandest wedding of the year. At the altar stood Don Alejandro Vergara, a respected Filipino millionaire whose fortune spanned businesses, real estate, and charities. Beside him, glowing in her silk white gown, was Isabella Cruz, a woman of enchanting beauty who had quickly captivated Alejandro's heart. Everyone whispered the same thing. He finally found love again. But in the front pew sat Gabriel Vergara, Alejandro's only son, mute since birth. Gabriel was known as PIPI ng Pamilya, a young man of 24 who had never spoken a word in his life. Yet despite his silence, his sharp eyes carried wisdom and truth. He adored his father, who raised him alone after his mother's early death. But today, Gabriel's heart pounded with dread, because he knew something the others did not. In the weeks before the wedding, Gabriel had noticed things. Isabella's late-night phone calls, her secretive meetings with a man Gabriel had followed in shadows, the cruel way she mocked Alejandro when no one else was watching. She wasn't marrying his father for love. She was marrying him for power and money. Gabriel had tried to warn his father, scribbling messages in notebooks, but Alejandro dismissed them as misunderstandings. "You just don't know her as I do," Alejandro had said gently, blinded by affection. And now, the priest's voice filled the cathedral. "Do you, Don Alejandro Vergara, take Isabella Cruz to be your lawfully wedded wife?" "I do," Alejandro replied proudly. The priest turned to Isabella. "Do you, Isabella Cruz, take Alejandro Vergara?" But before she could answer, a sound stopped everyone cold. A voice, strong, trembling, but real. "No!" Gasps swept through the pews. Every eye turned. Don Alejandro froze. The impossible had happened. The voice came from his son, Gabriel the mute. He was standing, tears streaking his face, but his words clear. "She is lying," Gabriel cried, voice breaking yet fierce. "She doesn't love you, Papa. She wants your money. She already belongs to another man." Silence crashed down, heavy and sharp. Isabella's face blanched, her lips parting in shock. Don Alejandro stumbled back in disbelief, staring at the son who had never spoken. "Gabriel, you can talk?" he whispered. "I had to," Gabriel said, his voice raw but steady. "I couldn't let her hurt you." And then, with trembling hands, Gabriel pulled out his phone. Videos played. Isabella laughing cruelly. Isabella whispering to her lover. Isabella calling Alejandro her golden ticket. The evidence was undeniable. Gasps, murmurs, outrage spread across the cathedral. Guests rose to their feet in shock. Isabella's mask shattered. "You little wretch!" she screamed at Gabriel, fury twisting her beautiful face. "You've ruined everything." But Alejandro stepped forward, eyes blazing not with anger at his son, but with pride and heartbreak. "You gave me your voice when I needed it most," he whispered, clutching Gabriel's shoulders. "You saved me, hijo." The wedding was over, and everyone knew it. If you were in Alejandro's place, would you have believed your son's impossible miracle, or the woman you thought you loved? Stay with me, because what happens next will show how truth, kindness, and family can change lives forever. Chaos filled the cathedral as security escorted Isabella out, her shouts echoing like a fallen angel's curse. Guests whispered, stunned at what they had witnessed. Not only the revelation of betrayal, but the miracle of Gabriel's voice. For years, doctors had said Gabriel might never speak. Therapists had tried, but silence had always won. Yet in the moment his father needed him most, Gabriel's words broke through. Alejandro was still trembling when he turned to his son. His eyes brimmed with tears. "All these years, I thought you had no voice, but you chose the right moment to use it." Gabriel wept openly. "I couldn't stay silent, Papa. You've given me everything. It was time I gave something back." That night, the story spread across the Philippines. Newspapers called it a miracle. Mute son speaks to save father at the altar. People across the nation wept reading about Gabriel's bravery. But inside the Vergara mansion, Alejandro wasn't thinking about the headlines. He was thinking about his son, about the years of quiet companionship, the unspoken love, the silent loyalty that had now spoken louder than any words ever could. The following days were filled with both healing and change. Alejandro ended all ties with Isabella, donating the canceled wedding funds to children's hospitals. But most importantly, he made a vow. Never again would he underestimate his son. Every evening, Alejandro and Gabriel walked together in the garden. Alejandro listened with wonder as Gabriel, voice still fragile but growing stronger, shared his thoughts, dreams, and even jokes he had kept locked away for years. One evening, as the sun painted the sky gold, Alejandro whispered, "I thought I needed someone else to complete my life, but it's you, Gabriel. You are my greatest treasure." Gabriel smiled, his voice soft but steady. "And you, Papa, are mine." The world had expected a glamorous wedding. What they got instead was a miracle, a reminder that love, loyalty, and truth are worth more than all the riches in the world. And for Don Alejandro, the greatest vow spoken that day wasn't "I do." It was his son's first words. "No, Papa, she's lying."